Hey, it's Coach Jake here with FasCat Coaching. Today I'm going to talk to you about our Sweet Spot group rides or Sweet Spot TSS rides. A lot of us are doing those on the weekends right now, and some of us though right now, ever since that groundhog came out, has been dealing with winter. It's been real bad. I think I saw a map of the whole United States. 72% of it's covered in snow, which is quite a bit. It snowed here the other day and it was quite bad. So a lot of us are going to be stuck indoors trying to complete our long weekend rides. This question comes up on our forum quite a bit. What should I do this weekend? I got a 4-hour ride. It's a blizzard outside. It's sub-zero. I don't really want to do 4 hours on the trainer, or is that what I have to do to FTFP? A lot of times we tell our athletes it depends on the timing of the year and where you're at in your training cycle and what you should complete. So like say you were doing Mid-South, that was an A event, you live in Oklahoma, it's 4 weeks away. You might want to try to get at least 3 or 4 hours on the trainer. I know it would suck, but you're in Oklahoma, your A event's coming up, and most likely next weekend you wouldn't be on the trainer. Well, at least ideally, in an ideal world, but who knows. But you need those longer rides. But say your goal event would have been Belgian Waffle Ride or Unbound in June, and you live in Indiana, like, do you need the 4-hour ride the second weekend in February? Probably not. A lot of times we'll be like, why don't you just do 70% of your training plan? So like if you had a 200 TSS day, try to get in 130 TSS, 150, and you can do this by getting a lot of sweet spot and doing it, in 2.5 hours, 3 hours max, and you're off the trainer. The other thing too you want to think about is what's the next day? So Saturday's your Sweet Spot TSS day. Your next day is probably a long endurance ride. Chances are you're going to have to cut that short too. So you don't want to do a 3 or 4 hour training ride on Saturday and come Sunday be all burned out not to get back on the trainer. So we like to keep our training consistent. So you're better off doing the 2.5 on Saturday, 2.5 on Sunday. And again, on Sunday, if there was a 4-hour Zone 2 day, 200 TSS, try to get 130 TSS, 150 maybe, and cut it down to 2.5 hours. And again, just add tempo, add some sweet spot. At this point, you're still doing aerobic power. So that's the important part with our sweet spot plans mostly is aerobic power. You want to keep it under threshold and build that base. Once we get through base, of course, we always talk about base to race. So when we start our interval training plan, then you'll do your attack style group rides and such. So I'm the resident Zwift guy. What's the best way to complete a Sweet Spot TSS ride using Zwift? A lot of times I try to go to the Zwift companion app, find an event, and do an event. One that has lots of, I prefer ones with climbing. That way I can do the climbs bottom to top at Sweet Spot and the rest of the time between just Zone 2. I think it spaces out my effort pretty well. I know some people will basically do an event from start to finish, whether it's an hour or 2 hours, and ride the whole thing, 85% of FTP, which is Sweet Spot, for 2 hours, and come away with 130, 140 TSS, and that's fine, whatever you're comfortable with. So right now, this time of year, what we're trying to do is build your base. We're trying to raise your CTL. How do we do this? Through TSS. We do TSS. So that's why a lot of our weekend rides are going to be based on TSS. Sweet Spot TSS. It really could be anywhere above Zone 2 to just under your FTP. So you're just trying to make the most of your time training by riding a little harder than just Zone 2. We call it sometimes, we say advanced aerobic training. So you're just doing more in less time. This is great for people that have a family, have jobs. We can't train 16 to 20 hours a week and get all the Zone 2 time. So we compact our training into 6 to 12 hours. And we make it more beneficial and get more TSS by riding Sweet Spot. So this morning, I'm going to take you through one of my Sweet Spot training days for myself. I'm going to do the XRS Climbing Series race at 9 a.m. this morning. It's going to be the 4 horseman course, so it's a really hard course, really. You're going to start off with a short KOM, which is like 2 minutes, and then we'll do the volcano climb, which will be 8 minutes. Epic KOM, which will be a 5-minute effort, and then we go up the Alp, which is, 45-minute effort. So there'll be plenty of time to get some sweet spot training in. Probably going to get 2.5 hours at least in. The goal today for me is 170 TSS, so that's what I'm after. And again, I don't want to go full gas today. Tomorrow, again, indoors, want to try to get another 2.5 hours and 120 TSS. So got to save something for tomorrow. All right, so here we are at the startup menu on Zwift. The ride I want to do, the upcoming events over here is the climbing one. So we will choose XRS Race Saturday Climbing A. Ride on. All right, we're on the trainer, getting a little 5-minute warm up before the ride. Starts off with the KOM right away, so a little spin in the legs, even though we probably let the group go and just do our own thing. So one thing I do with this TSS rides is I have my Garmin on. This way I can see running TSS as I'm riding. And this way it's only one ride file. Whether it's if I do 2 events back to back, 1 long event with a warm up, it's 1 ride, 1 file, 1 thing in Training Peaks. And like I said, the most important thing, running TSS. So I can see it currently. I have my fan, help me cool. This jersey I'm wearing right now is just for show. That's gonna come off as soon as I stop talking. And why, yes, I did wake up looking this good. It's tough. Try not to start too hard. It's hard. Hold back a little bit. I gotta find my guy. The guy. I was right behind him. So you'll see the graph on the bottom of my screen, color-coded by zones. Green and yellow. Well, green zone 3, yellow zone 4. So blue is zone 2. So those are the colors we'll try to do today. Blue, green, yellow. Avoid the red, which I've done very bad of in the past. Okay, we did the Lift KOM there, Epic KOM, up to the radio tower. Felt pretty good. Heart rate's a little low, coming to the end of the build cycle. TSS though, up to 95 in 1 hour 5. So like 65 to go. Not quite halfway done with the ride yet, the route. And do have the altitude lift still, which will be 45 minutes. 50 minutes of climbing. I'm really looking forward to that. All right, just made the turn for the Alp. This is going to be 45, 50 minutes. So, feeling pretty good up the Alp. Almost halfway. Doing more than I should. Talked about this earlier. Still have to ride tomorrow. So no reason to overdo your Sweet Spot TSS day before long. endurance day. When I was racing pro with the Rite Aid, there was one of the best dudes ever on the team. He's a little older, been racing way longer than I have. He said, just because you can ride harder doesn't mean you should. And ever since then, like 2008, took that to heart. Practiced so well, maybe not so much, but took it to heart. Share it with my other athletes. He's right though. No reason to go harder. Stay in your zone. Stay in your ride. So, 221.30 with a little warm up. I'm at 199.8 TSS. Not a bad day. All right, we're finished up with our Sweet Spot TSS training ride. I thought we could look at training peaks, take a look at the file, kind of see what we're looking at. Could be at my desk, but it's a weekend, and I'm pretty tired, so I'm just going to sit here from my recliner, and we can talk about the file for a minute, and then hopefully you can have a good weekend and keep FTFPing. Okay, here we are into training peaks. Here's the workout we did. Made it green. Sweet Spot group ride. 3 hours. Did 240. TSS 173 actually did 214. So I did ride a little bit more. 0.9 intensity factor. So that is right in sweet spot, which is good. I didn't intend to ride that hard. So here's the climbs. You know, we could pick out each climb. You know, almost 8 minutes. 0.9. So that's probably closer to threshold. Should have gone a little easier there. This is Epic KOM, 26 minutes, 0.98, at least under FTP there. Top of sweet spot would be 0.97 a lot of times, so maybe just a watt or two hard. Same thing with the Alp climb, 41 minutes, 312 watts, which happened to be 0.98 intensity factor. So 0.97 is really the top end of sweet spot. So just a touch hard, a couple watts hard. But here we go. Here, breakdown of our zones. And we got 37 minutes of zone 3, hour 16 zone 4. A mix of these is pretty much sweet spot. So most of our time was spent in 3 and 4, which is good. So that's kind of what we look at when we do our sweet spot rides. Is like how much time in zone 3 and how much time in zone 4. Like I said, I probably spent maybe a touch too much time above FTP, but we're still under. I mean, I got my FTP set at 320, so not a lot of these efforts are still, 8 watts under, so we're good. So the idea of sweet spots is to do aerobic training, so you want to be under your FTP. So I did pretty good. See, I did good like between the climbs, keeping a lower pace. So I did, there was recovery in there, so that's really good stuff. Mostly zone 2, a little zone 3 there. So overall, it was a pretty good ride, pretty successful. And anytime you can get in, over 200 TSS on a trainer, you've had yourself a day. All right. Well, that's how we do our Sweet Spot TSS rides on the weekends when we're stuck indoors. Hope you learned something. Hope you have some fun. That's basically what it's all about. It's just out there having fun on the indoor days when you're stuck indoors. Just trying to get some work in, some quality work, and follow the plan.